here. You'll probably hear me scratching like I have a sore throat or something. Let me, I've got the other phone here. Finally brought it with me so that if somebody says hello or something, I can answer back. I could read the messages. The sun is coming up and it's moved slightly over to the right. That would probably be your left on the screen. And that's a good thing because it was shining in my eyes. I'm facing the sun, which is okay, but it makes it a tiny bit difficult to read messages when they appear on the screen. Let's see, I'm looking at a commercial. Not sure. Oh, that's another one of my favorite live streams. I gotta find my channel here. Just give me a moment. I'm still setting up. I just realized I have a little bit of a cold. I didn't notice it until now. Oh my. Who's here? Hey, you know what? I forgot to upload my thumbnail for this live stream. That doesn't surprise me. I was trying to get it going really, really fast. So I'll upload it when we're all finished here. Oh, Mel is here. Hi, Mel. I like your live stream. When I was surprised to see our picture up there. Yeah. So anyway, I'm facing the sun. You know, the sun keeps moving in and out of view. I think it's going to move away. Let me clip this onto my shirt. I'm just going to randomly clip it anywhere, and hopefully the microphone will work. Oh yeah, that was me kicking the table. Wow, you guys, you've been so supportive. I really appreciate it. Hey, did you notice that you know how I've been trying to post short videos almost every day. I just randomly make them up as I go along. And the one that I posted last night, I think it was, what was last night's? Was last night's the vending machine? I don't really remember, right? But you know, where you crank it and then it drops down an egg. That thing is like 2.5K views the last time I checked it. That's amazing. So I mean, and the arrow is pointing up, which means it's looks like it's going to trend, something like that. Anime is here. Anime, what time is it there? Is it like close to 8 o'clock or something like that, or 9? Let's see, I'm trying to see what time it is here. 7:38. So it must be 8:38 there in the Philippines. Anyway, I just thought I'd talk about a couple of random things, you know, nothing that I had in mind other than just to do a live stream where I talk about nothing. So I wanted to start off. Daisy Lynn is here, 7-month member. Thank you so much, Daisy Lynn. You're so supportive. Life is here. Let me see. Daisy Lynn in the house. How did you like that painting that I sent you? That reminded me of you. It was in the lobby of this hotel that we're live streaming from. So it was fun. It was fun to do. So look, I'm taking this. I have to put this cream on. I hope you don't mind. It's called Cistrol. So a couple of days ago, I started breaking out here in Pattaya. I started breaking out probably because the weather changed from overcast to really hot. And I got this, I guess the best way to describe it, you can't see it on camera, but it is a heat rash. It's a heat rash. So it's almost like looking at an allergic reaction to something. And so here in Thailand, things, well, they're similar to the Philippines this way. And then a lot of times you can go to the pharmacy and the pharmacist will take a look at what you got. And then if they can figure out what's ailing you, or you describe it to them and they can figure out what your problem is, they'll never be able to figure out what my problem is. Then they'll help you out by giving you, the prescription. And so that's how it works here. I think it's easier to get that done here than it is in the Philippines, although it still happens in the Philippines quite often, especially after you get to know the pharmacist for a while. Then they're gonna not put so much emphasis on the prescription or needing a doctor's prescription. I'm sorry, I just dropped the lid to this and I don't know where it went. Give me a moment while I look around for it. I don't want this stuff to dry up. Oh yeah, bounced way over here. Hey, hang on, let me get it. I think my mic cord is long enough for me to grab this. All right. So I got it. All right, so anyway, it's called Cistrol, and I would imagine it's got steroids in it, but I have to put this on 4 times a day in order to get these. They look like little pimples, or like when you eat some fish or something, some shellfish, and then you get this allergic reaction. So where am I? I'm here on the balcony of the 3-star, yes, count them 3, 1, 2, 3, 3-star hotel that we're staying at in North Pattaya, or Pattaya, however you want to say it. Here's what the prescription is right here. And you do it 4 times a day and you rub it in here. And so we got up early this morning, and it's a weird kind of setup here, but I don't know if I want to go into too much detail. Well, why not? Because you guys don't know where I'm at. So, and I'm not going to mention the name of the hotel, but basically it's a 3-star hotel. Now, when I booked this room, they advertised breakfast, but it's not really a breakfast. It kind of is. It's a continental breakfast, but they didn't identify it as that when we booked this room. And so when I come down on the first day, right? We've been here a while now, right? We're staying in this particular place 3 weeks. This is a lesson learned, right? Because it's basically a reason why you don't want to book a hotel for that many days until you've actually test driven it. So a lot of people, they'll just go, oh yeah, we'll stay here for 2 or 3 days and see how it works out. Works out okay, we'll extend it. Not me. I go for broke every time, even though I know I shouldn't, right? I would book 3 weeks at a time and then take my chances. Well, that's just plain silly. That's just a plain silly thing to do, right, Daisy Lynn? So anyway, uh-oh, I lost myself here. I have to go back. There I am. Okay, so now I'm messing around with the phone too much here. Anime. So we get downstairs, right? It's got instant coffee, which isn't so bad, Instant coffee isn't bad. It's not fresh brewed. And they have a tray of bread that you can toast that's sitting out there. And you toast it yourself, and then it has little tabs of butter. So you have coffee, toast, and these hot dogs. These hot dogs like you get in the Philippines. They're not the red hot dogs. They're a little bit thicker than that, and they're... What did you say? Oh, they're thicker because they're not Filipino hot dogs? No. I know what you're thinking. No, they're from Germany or some place. Maybe a foreigner owns this hotel. I'm not exactly sure. Anyway. That being said, that's breakfast, and they have a few cereal choices, and they have that the milk, the make-believe milk, same kind you get in the Philippines. Comes in the carton. You can pour that in the bowl and enjoy your bowl of cereal with your toast and your hot dog, and your instant coffee. And so, well, the last few days we've been running down to the 7-Eleven because we got a lot of them around here. There are 3 7-Elevens in my view right now. They're not even 10 feet, 20 feet apart from each other. I could see all 3 signs. It's rather hysterical. Well, anyway, we've been going down there, and you can get breakfast there. You can get a nice breakfast there for about $2, plus maybe add 50 baht, $1.50 for a cup of coffee, a nice Americano coffee, right? Which is good since I am American. And you can enjoy yourself a nice, beautiful breakfast there for just a couple of bucks a piece. But man, Minnie and I, we've been going way over budget on this trip. As a matter of fact, overall, I would say, not because necessarily the money part, but it's because I booked too long of a trip. You know, we enjoy seeing our friends and things like that. That makes it a big plus. Who live not too far from here. But, you know, 3 weeks or 4 weeks is, it seems too long of a period of time to be staying here this time. As you know, this isn't the last segment of this trip. You know, we still have Cambodia and 2 cities in Cambodia to see. You have Siem Reap, which is where Angkor Wat is. Of course, we're going to go to Angkor Wat because that's a childhood dream, is to climb up that temple. And then, but there's actually a bigger one, according to Nitban. There's a bigger one. Oh, Chrissy Mama's here. Griselda's in the house. There's a bigger temple that we're going to see. So we're probably going to see 2 over the course of 3 or 4 days there. And then I don't even know how we're getting down to Phnom Penh. We either have to fly, take a bus, take a train, take a taxi, take a motor. We have to find some way of getting down to Phnom Penh. And Phnom Penh, we're just basically going to go to the war museums and the hospitals and different things, right? A lot of you may not know this history of the Vietnam War, but Cambodia was like, they were neutral during the Vietnam War. And so, but they were helping out both the American side and the Vietnam side during this conflict because they didn't want any trouble. And so there's a lot of history in Cambodia about the Vietnam War that I want to see, and I should see before I leave this mortal planet. So anyway, that's what the plan is. And so we only have like about 7 more days here, and we're a little bit over budget. And I'm not sure I'm not sure how motivated I'm going to be to go to some of these other tourist attractions that charge a bunch of money for not giving you very much in return in terms of things to do. So that's really what the plan is. Thanks so much for the shares that you guys have been giving me. But I noticed that in my stats, I mean, the folks that are here are truly the loyalists for the channel. There's no question about it. But I was looking at my stats, and the number of people watching the videos on this channel, I'm talking about actual subscribers, is tanking. And I wonder if that has something to do with me saying that I'm going to retire the long format videos and I'm going to go over to shorts and live streaming, you know, as a regular part of the channel. I'm going to build the channel that way. And so once I said that, then I noticed on my stats, my analytics, that only 3% of the subscribers are watching my videos now. They tanked. And even the shorts are being watched. The majority are not subscribed to the channel. A huge majority. And the numbers are climbing like crazy. The watch hours are climbing like crazy. The revenue is climbing. Glenda, the whole thing about this is that it's your channel. And so I think the reason why I'm bringing it up, if you watch the videos with the ads, or no matter what you're doing, you watch the live streams and you don't skip the ads, that money that's earned gets returned back to you in the form of a giveaway. That's kind of how I that's kind of like how the vision, that was the vision or the idea for the channel from the very beginning, was that, there's a good chance we could earn revenue. And if we can, then as in the last couple of live streams, I've given it back to you. And so I enjoy doing that. And I don't know, I mean, a lot of people do giveaways. And there are a couple of you that have been so lucky, you're so used to earning your living by just doing giveaways. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen I've seen you guys earn so much money on giveaways, there'd be no reason to have a job because you're earning a ton of money just taking advantage of the giveaways. Am I right about this anime? There's some people that we know they're winning all the time, right? But that's all I wanted to do was to build this channel to give away, to earn enough money to give away. But of course, if we can't, and then in the months where we're not earning any money, then, or we're not earning enough to get paid anyway, because you have that YouTube minimum, then the whole idea was just for me to subsidize it, to sponsor my own channel, if you will, by giving away. It's approximately 1,000 pesos every live stream, but I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad sponsorship money, Okay, so I realize you guys are probably getting your kids ready for school and the like. And you're listening to me in the background. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is, so there's a channel. There's a YouTube channel called Tom and Lay. I highly recommend that you watch it. It's a fun couple. They're a fun couple, and they're doing a lot of traveling right now. They're doing a lot of international traveling. Pinky Gray is here. Hi, Pink. Aren't you up kind of early? Don't you get up kind of late in the morning? What are you doing up so early? Tom and Lay, they're fun. Tom has a channel also called the Roaming Hogan. Now, he's been in a couple of relationships and publicly invites people to participate by watching what goes on in the relationship. So he was with, I don't know if you know the famous YouTube vlogger, what is her name? Salong is her last name, right? And now I can't remember the name of the channel at all, right? I was watching her for a long time every day, and then she got a new boyfriend and is in a new relationship. Meljean Salong. So Meljean was with Roaming Hogan, was with Tom, and then they found out they weren't going the same direction. They didn't discuss all the details. I'm not really interested in all the details, but of the relationship. But it probably would have made good. It would have made good videos, right, for views. Anyway, never mind. Just setting that aside. People like drama on YouTube, especially when couples have breakups, I noticed. The views on both channels, each one of the couples starts to climb. And I think that's what happened here. Thank you for the support, Pinky Gray. Always will support your channel. So getting on with the story. I know I'm taking way too long. Getting on with the story. He has a new girlfriend. I understand that she pursued him. She's a very nice Filipino woman. I like her. Right? By the way, they're both very young. So you have, I don't know what that has to do with the story. So you have Tom and Lay. Right? And in one of the YouTube videos, they discuss how Tom had gotten really, really sick. This is what I was trying to get at. And they ended up going to the hospital because he got sick. And I talk about this often, right? That one of the first things that you have to look at when all of a sudden you feel lethargic and you feel dizzy and all these other things start happening, elevated pulse rate, sometimes this happens, is you have to think about being dehydrated. And so before you go right into the hospital, I'm not saying don't go. I'm not saying don't go to the hospital or clinic. Yes. If you feel the need, you should always run. Don't wait. You run to the hospital or the clinic if you're feeling ill. But so I started having episodes of those dizziness and things like that. And I go, man, the first thing I thought about, and this is part of human nature, was not that you're suffering from dehydration. I don't know why that is. And that most likely is the answer why people tend to check themselves into the hospital. But then it finally dawns on me, hey, I wonder if I'm suffering from dehydration. because all of a sudden it went from overcast. The weather changed. It went basically from rainy season to summer. I don't know what's going on in the Philippines right now. I haven't been keeping track because we're here in Thailand. We know what's going on here in Thailand. So when I thought about that, I went to the 7-Eleven. I started looking around for Gatorade. Discovered that they don't sell Gatorade here. I don't know if they don't sell Gatorade in the 7-Elevens. I don't know if they don't sell Gatorade in all of Thailand. I don't know how that works, but there was no electrolyte. There was coconut water on the shelf. So that was really the go-to. But I decided to go over to the pharmacy and then pick up the crystals. Pick up the electrolytes. I don't know why I do this, because drinking water would work just fine, I'm sure. And drinking coconut water or coconut juice would work equally fine. And so I started mixing this. I bought 5 packs, and after just drinking the first packet and mixing this electrolyte powder or crystals, whatever you want to call it, mixing it with water, I know cold water helps a lot because it causes you to hydrate a little bit more quickly, from what I understand. I don't know if that's true or not. You might want to Google it. But I just mixed it with water, and after downing that first glass of water with the electrolytes, I started feeling a little bit better. And so I waited, and I didn't want to overdo it. I waited, and then I had a second glass of water a few hours later with some electrolytes. And slowly but surely, don't call me Shirley, I started to feel better again. So I've been drinking electrolytes. I've been adding the electrolytes just to make sure that I have electrolytes and I stay hydrated. But the best thing for staying hydrated is drinking water. And some people don't recommend cold water or warm water. You'll have to Google this on what is the best method or what works for you. But we have this habit of taking our water and just, without thinking about it, throwing it in the ref. And then later we're coming back and grabbing a nice cool water. But I'm not sure that's the best methodology. Probably room temperature water is the best way to do it. I'll be mixing this in a moment with this and shaking it up. So I get my electrolytes, I get my metabolism going for this morning. And then we'll be headed downstairs to partake in the continental breakfast. So we could save having to go down to the 7-Eleven and spend the $5 or so that we've been spending per day down there in order to enjoy real coffee and a real breakfast. Yeah, I may say something. I don't review hotels or anything like that. Maybe I should start reviewing them. That might be an idea. Maybe I should start reviewing them, because things don't generally piss me off. I'm a pretty easygoing guy for the most part. Although Minnie says I'm angry most of the time. But I think that complaining, it might get them to stop with the false advertising. I'm not saying they falsely advertised. They really didn't. It's really a great place. See, that's the whole thing. I haven't told you where I'm staying, and I'm not going to, because they have very strict laws here in Thailand. If you criticize an innkeeper, they could civilly come after you for the misstatements if they determine that it's cost them money. And so no, it isn't that kind of a deal. The rooms are, they're right in the middle in terms of comfort. They're very large in terms of size when you compare them to rooms that you get in the Philippines. So there are very positive things about this place that override the continental breakfast, I must say. But I suppose that Americans are part of the problem. Westerners, if you tell them you're going to get breakfast, they're expecting a full breakfast. They're not expecting a continental breakfast. Usually you would say continental breakfast in your ad when you were advertising for people to stay there. Are you guys feeling me at all? Are you feeling me at all? Just put a 1 in the chat if you're feeling where I'm coming from. Oh, first, there have to be people watching. And it looks like there's not many of you watching, even though I've got 7 thumbs up. So I'm thinking that there are a lot of people doing lives this morning. You guys are busy. You got to go reap the rewards of that money, and I don't blame you for doing that. So anyway, one of the things about Thailand, there are more than one. Some of the things about Thailand that are interesting is that I have noticed the cost of food has gone up, and this doesn't set too well with the tourists. So the tourists come over here, they're expecting that they can still get a full meal deal, for $2 on the street food stands. And I would have to say, for the most part, that is true. But what I've noticed is that when they go into the venues, when they go into places like, Terminal 21, and they go upstairs to Pier 21, which is the food court basically, the prices of the food and drinks and stuff has skyrocketed. I don't know why that is, and I noticed it, and I started thinking about maybe there's inflation, maybe there's global inflation going on. You can't blame the President of the United States for everything, can you? Can you? So anyway, the stock market took almost a 1,000 point dive. Maybe it was closer to 900. But the stock market isn't directly related to the economy, is it? Because after all, the majority of investors in the stock market, aren't they institutional investors? They're things like retirement and pension funds of corporations, and they're rich billionaire industrialists like Warren Buffett and different people like that. We can't blame you can't look at the stock market and how great or sad it's doing and say that's because the U.S. economy is tanking. Shoot, you have stocks that are going crazy on in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, right? They're part of the Dow Jones, and they're not even turning a single dollar in profit. So how could that be? Was that a true statement or not? I think it was. I think you could find members of the Dow Jones Industrial Average that are reporting losses, but yet the stock still returns a good return. I mean, but that's not a reflection of the economy, the global economy. I think I have a better perspective of it than folks that live in other places, because I'm actually there. I'm here in Thailand, I'm here in the Philippines, I'm there in the Philippines. I know how much we're paying for power. I know how much the food budget has increased. I know how much clothing and different necessities, health care and things like that cost, because we've partaken in those things. And so it's anecdotal, which means it's not based on anything other than my observation. But if you take my word for it, which I recommend that you don't, then you look around, you say, oh yeah, things are starting to climb in terms of cost. And they are here too in Thailand, even though you hear people saying things like, oh, Thailand is cheaper to live than in the Philippines, the infrastructure is better, blah, 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 blah. Well, that may be true, may not be true, but I mean, if I go to Chat GPT, in fact, I probably should do it sometime. If I go there and I say, is it cheaper to live in Thailand or cheaper to live in the Philippines? I wonder what they would say. If I said, is it cheaper to live in the United States or cheaper to live in the Philippines? Well, you know what Chat GPT is going to say. Hands down, it's less expensive if you're from the West to live in the Philippines and Thailand, for that matter. But I don't look at Thailand as being, the promised land. A lot of people do. A lot of Westerners do. It's an interesting place. I like coming here. I like coming here on vacation, but I also enjoy going home. when vacation is over. I don't have thoughts of, gee, I wish I could live here. You know, we already have a house in the Philippines. There's no reason to move here. I mean, for the moment, we only need one house. But I noticed that if I did, I've thought about this a lot, and I've discussed it with Dan and Minnie. And truth be told, if we did need another home, it wouldn't be in Thailand either. It would be in the Philippines. It would make it easier and probably save a little bit of money, since we travel so frequently going from the south or the middle part of the Philippines, which is Bye City, Leyte. It's almost dead center, isn't it? Isn't Leyte the island that's almost dead center in the Philippines? It would be easier to have a place to stay if we had a place in the north, you know, or even one in Cebu. Cebu is a great place because you could launch off there at Cebu International Airport there, Mactan. You can go there and travel anywhere in the world from there. So, and also Manila, so it makes sense. And also Clark Air Force Base, or the old Clark Air Force Base. It almost makes more sense to have a place either in Cebu or in Manila or Pampanga, you know, to have another place there to make it easier to move around, since we move around so frequently. You know, we leave the country about once every 5 to 6 months. So I've been thinking about that. Convincing Dan and Minnie is a different matter, you know. It takes two people to tango. It takes two people to come to a decision. When you're married, you're in a relationship, both people have to agree. So that's going to take some doing, I think. But anyway, the things that are the same to me are very similar. They're not. Nothing's ever actually going to be the same when you compare Thailand and the Philippines. Is traffic. I would never drive here because they drive on the opposite side of the street. You know, so you drive on the right side, they drive on the left side. You know? So I don't know how that happened. If you go back in history, you probably can figure out how it is that, I think it's colonial, you know, I think it's, you know, the impact that colonialism had on the Philippines is one reason. You know, they brought their Western style to the Philippines, and they continue to do that. And here in Thailand, they go their own way. They make their own mark on the globe. And so I would never drive here. It's just too dangerous for me. You know, I would be tense all the time if I were to drive here. You know, I just can't see squeezing in between a curb and a Jeep. I can't see that. Can't see doing that. Or revving it up when you want to pass. I would never pass on the left. I would always pass on the right. See, these are things that you have to think about when you move here to anywhere, as a matter of fact, in Southeast Asia. You have to think about these things. I gave up my willingness to drive once I arrived here. I said, no, I'm not driving there. Because driving creates a whole bunch of problems because you're a Westerner in a foreign country. Right, Anime? Griselda? You're a Westerner in a foreign country. The rules, the same rules don't apply. Because in some cases, Westerners have a pocket full of money. Not in my case. I have enough to get along, you know. We have enough money that we're not gonna have to worry about it. Most likely for the rest of my life, and I don't know what the rest of Dan and Minnie's life looks like. I don't know how long that will be. Things that are similar also that are interesting that I don't even think about, but I'm going to mention it. I'm going to mention it to you. You might laugh, you might not. But here, the sewer line. So they don't have sewer treatment. They may have sewer treatment plants, but none. Oh, what was that? What the heck was that? That was loud. Yeah, maybe it was just the echo of a truck unloading because we're here on the balcony. I don't know if you heard that or not. But the sewer lines, so they vent them. Folks, there's a reason why they vent the sewer lines here, right? They vent the sewer lines. Yeah, let me get off the subject of sewage and sewage treatment. I wouldn't know whether they had sewage treatment plants here in Thailand nor the Philippines. I never checked it out. So I almost made a misstatement there. by saying that I know when I actually don't. So, but I know they have sewage outlets here in Thailand, and I've seen them also in the Philippines, where the sewage from sewage tanks and things like that, they dump out into the ocean, right? They have outlets. I know where one big outlet is here, and you wouldn't want to go fishing there. But they have to vent those lines, and the reason why they vent them is because, you know, if sewer gases accumulated and all of a sudden someone decided to light a match, well, that's like methane gas. You actually, if you were in the wrong place at the wrong time, you would basically evaporate yourself. If you lit a cigarette, if you decide to light a cigarette over the top of a vented sewer line. But that also has something else that comes along with it, and that's the odor, right? That's the odor of sewage, of the gases. And so it's really very interesting. I don't know why I'm talking about this, but it's actually it's interesting to me. So here you have all the tourists on the beach of Pattaya, right, who are enjoying their vacation, having this carefree existence, playing in the white sand along the beach. You know, you can picture people frolicking in the waves at Boracay, right? And so picture that. So I've shown you what Pattaya Beach looks like, and Jomtien Beach, and so it's beautiful, right? It's gorgeous. And so here you are, you're frolicking in the water, in the waves, and at the same time you're frolicking, you're smelling the sewer gas. And what's interesting to me is nobody thinks anything about it, including me. You know, it's sort of like a way of life. Yeah, it's a way of life here. You accept it. You know, I'm smelling sewer gas right now. I don't even think about it except to talk to you about this paradox that exists. You know, that's very, very similar to the Philippines. Thank you, Anime, for hanging around. So, yeah, whether you're listening or not, Anime, I really appreciate you being here. So it's a paradox, you know. You have this beautiful environment of white sandy beaches and waves and people frolicking out there. At the same time, you're sucking in the vented sewer gases that are coming up out of the sewage system. Don't you find that to be funny? Or strange or something? I mean, it is really, really strange. So I had khao soi. I had chicken khao soi the other day for the first time, right? And it was so delicious, but I discovered that it's not more delicious of a dish than any other Thai dish that I've sampled. In other words, it's delicious, yes. Would I have it again? Of course I would. But I like to have all kind of different food here in Thailand. Most of the food is spicy here, and you get used. It's not the same. It's like cooking spicy food in the Philippines, almost identical to that in what the spices are supposed to do, enhance the flavor of the dishes. So all you chefs out there know what I'm talking about. It's not just to bring the heat. It enhances the flavors of the rest of the food that you're cooking. It enhances it. It's not the primary focus of the dish. Now see, what I'm saying, I guess, is that, and that is also true with Mexican dishes, I've noticed. So, in other words, I'm just saying they bring the heat, but the main purpose for bringing the heat is to enhance the flavor of the dish that they're making here in Thailand, the same as they do in the Philippines. And so you should find that equally interesting, because I hear a lot of Westerners, you know, oh, that's too hot, I can't eat the chilies, right? Well, but after a while, after eating the food, you become accustomed to understanding the reason why they use the hot peppers, the hot chili, the small little red ones, you know, in the food, and then you become accustomed to them, or I should say, more accurately, that has been the result for me. And so the food is absolutely delicious, and I like when they bring the heat. So yes, I enjoy it a lot. So I don't know what today is going to bring. Like I said, I've got to hydrate myself. I got to make sure that it looks like it's going to be a very, very hot day. I'm going to open up this electrolyte and pour it into this bottle of water. Let me see. I know there's a place on here where you can open it easily. But here it is. But the last time I did this, I had powder. Oh, here it is. See the little thing right here? I had powder that spilled everywhere. So just the corner tab, right? This is called Royal D electrolyte beverage. And this was very inexpensive. I don't remember exactly how much it cost. It was something like 7 pesos. But I want to pour it in here in this water bottle, shake it up, and then I could sit here and drink this while we're talking. So anyway, while I'm doing this, I don't want to lose too much of it here. It is a powder, and it's lightweight, so it kind of flies everywhere if a draft of wind come up. Let me squeeze this. I want to get every ounce of electrolyte that I paid for. I'm cheap like that. Let me loosen up some of the granules. So about transportation, things like that. So everybody knows they have a thing. It's similar to a jeepney, but it's not a jeep. It's a truck taxi. I think most people refer to them as being truck taxis. I lovingly call them the bot bus. The bot bus or the truck taxi, per ride, they charge a flat rate fee of 10 baht. You know, that's very little money. So that's about 33 cents, something like that, American money. So for 33 cents, you could go an awful long way on a truck taxi. So Minnie and I, we travel using the truck taxi a lot. Once we got here, we learned where they go and where we're at in relationship to that. And how I handled that, how I was able to learn the system within a day, is that you put your destination in your, you Google your destination and you put it on walking. If you put it on walking, like walking towards the destination. So let's say you want to go to Terminal 21 in Pattaya. From where we are, it's quite a distance in North Pattaya. And that's more located towards the central part of Pattaya. So what you do is, yes, I like saying the word Pattaya. I probably am mispronouncing it. A lot of people say Pattaya, Pattaya, Pattaya. They come up with their own way. You should Google that to see how Google pronounces it. Oh, who's here? Who's saying good morning to me? Is that Crystal's Adventure? Ah, Crystal's is here. Oh, wait. Oh, Kuya Dave is in the house. Kuya Dave Adventure. Thank you for being here. Let me add you real quick. Okay, you're here. Gotcha covered. Get it? Got you covered. Jacketed it up. Okay, now, no, not jacked up. I jacketed you. Blue jacket. So anyway, you put it on walking, and then you could see everything. When you put Google on walking, then okay, you can pick up a bot taxi, a bot bus, a truck taxi anywhere. But if you stay on you're walking on the main road sometimes in order to catch that truck taxi. And then you'll be able to see your movements easily enough if you put it on the walking side, not the driving side, on Google Directions, right, on Google Maps. You can see where you're at. So by doing this, we were able to learn, you know, how much walking we had to do and where we had to go in order to get that bot bus or the bus taxi. And so that's how we learned the thing so quickly. So it's working out just fine. But it almost doesn't make sense because it is so inexpensive to take a taxi. So let me give you an example. There's an application called Bolt here where you could order up a car and they give you a whole bunch of different choices. You know, you could get a taxi, you can get an economy car, you could get a regular Bolt car, you could get a motor, you could get they give you a whole bunch of choices, right? And based on your budget, you can select which way you'd like to travel based on how much money it's gonna cost you. So let me give you an example, since I already mentioned Terminal 21 in Pattaya. So you can go from here, the hotel in North Pattaya, to Terminal 21 will cost you 20 baht. That is 10 baht for Dan and Minnie and 10 baht for me. You put them together and that's slightly less than 70 cents in American money. That would be about $1.50 in Filipino money, wouldn't it? Or would it be less? Let me see, 20 baht, 75 cents or 70 cents, less than that, 70 cents. So $1 in Filipino money would be roughly 50 pesos. So it would be less than 50 pesos to take that same ride. So it'd be something like 35 or 40 pesos to get to Terminal 21 from where we're at. But if you take the economy Bolt, the taxi, right, the economy Bolt, which these are guys that hustle up because their economy, they give an 11 or 12% discount off the regular Bolt taxi ride. And they're 20% cheaper or 30% cheaper than taking a regular taxi. So I've figured all this stuff out so you don't have to. If you decide to take that economy car, right, which means basically you get whatever you get, whatever shows up, right? You don't have a choice. Whatever shows up is what you take. Oh, thank you so much for, is that 11 months? I'm looking on my screen for your membership. Oh, wow. You know, I'm playing around with my phone here on the chat. And thank you so much, Crystal, for being a level 1 member. So, where was I? Finishing up with this talk. Oh, it'll only run you like 60 baht, less than $2, to get from point A to point B, to get from North Pattaya to Terminal 21, taking that private taxi, that private ride. So what would you do? I mean, what would you do? So it's 20 baht to get there, plus a whole lot of walking. Plus we'd be walking. We have to walk about 3 blocks in order to get the truck taxi to get down to Terminal 21. And then it'll cost us 20 baht to get down to Terminal 21 once we're on the main road. But if we call the Bolt taxi to come and get us, the Bolt economy, we select that. It'll come straight to our hotel door, the front door, and it will take us down to Terminal 21, and the charge will be 60 baht. 40 baht more than what it would have costed us to take the truck taxi. So that would be a little bit more, slightly more than $1 more to take the personal taxi down to Terminal 21. So we'd be saving 40 baht, or just a little bit more than $1.10, $1.15, something like that. So if you were in our situation, what would you do? Of course, you have to think about this. That's $1, a little bit more than $1 each way. So let's say we're costing you $2.25 every single day, and you were staying a month in Thailand. So $2.25 American times 28 days. That's how you would figure out your transportation budget. That's a lot of do-re-mi. That's a lot of cash. That's a lot of kita. Am I right? That would be a lot of money, because that's $2 per day times 28 days. You're talking about, you're starting to get up there into some serious cash. And so that would be a reason not to do it, right? That would be a reason why you wouldn't want to squander your budget. But we have, right? Because we're thinking, oh, it's cheap to travel anywhere on the taxi, in the private taxi. And so why don't we just do that everywhere we go? And the next thing you know, we're out $100 American money, right? That could go a long way in the Philippines. That could go a long way anywhere. Excuse me while I take a sip of my electrolyte juice that we just made up live here on Dan and Minnie's Journey. So yeah, it's probably somewhere in between that you need to be. Like maybe take the truck taxi down, or the jeepney. Maybe you would take the truck taxi down, and then when it got dark at night, you know, maybe you don't want to be on the street, even though it's perfectly safe here. You would bring the regular private taxi back. You would bring the Bolt taxi back, the economy. And then you'd be saving half that money every single day. Anyway, that's the dilemma, you know. But man, Minnie, she brings up a lot of good points. Minnie brings up points. The point is, she says, yeah, but we're not. She goes, we have the budget. Why don't we just take the taxi? And she's referring to the private taxi. Well, there are reasons why, other than money. You know, one, I need exercise. I'm not getting any thinner. But since being in Thailand, I am, and I'm not sure why that's happening, but it happens every time we visit here. I lose 10 pounds, and then we get back to the Philippines, I gain it back. It's really a horse's ass. It's because we do more walking here in Thailand than we do in the Philippines. That's simple to figure out. I don't eat less by any stretch of the imagination. Folks, I think I'm going to wrap up this live stream by just saying that this channel is really like a Seinfeld, you know, show. It's like the Seinfeld show in America. You know, it's a little bit about nothing. So if you're okay, you know, if you're okay with a little bit, if you want to have a fun time, you come here, right, and you listen to Dan talk about stupid stuff, or just show you. Listen, I do everything tongue-in-cheek. If you go back and you watch the video, you're always going to figure it out. You're going to see something in there, right, that's going to make you laugh if you're going to pay attention, right? Crystals, to know me is to love me, quite frankly. And I know you figured it out. I have an extremely dry sense of humor. You'll always find the laugh in every video that I do. And as soon as in fact, I have one coming up. I have a short video that I'm going to be posting that I'm sure you're going to enjoy, but hopefully you'll crack up over it. I have all these weird, perverse, unusual thoughts that are floating up there in my mind. It's terrible to me. It's terrible, really, or fun, as another way of looking at it, to be stuck inside my head. It's worse to be stuck inside this body. But anyway, that being said, I have a lot of fun with it. So if you don't get my sense of humor, what can I say? Yeah. So anyway, the trip to Thailand, all in all, let me come full circle before I end this live, and just say that the whole trip to Thailand a week and a half too long, you know, for this type of trip that we were going to make. It was about a week and a half too long. And we should have gone to Cambodia a lot sooner, but now we're here for another 7 days, is it? What day is it? It's March 11th. Crystal says, I just feel laughing everyone I saw those videos. I don't know, maybe I just thought of you, Sir Dan. Life is just life, you know. If you're presenting things the way that they really are, crystals, if you're just presenting them the way they are, then you're going to have a laugh, right? You won't believe some of the things that you're seeing, you know. But anyway, the tourists are starting to leave Thailand, by the way. So as the days go by, the population of tourists starts to thin out. And so I finally figured out that's when all the festivals on the beach start. They have the kite festival, the music festival is going on for 3 weekends in a row. And they make it very fun and enjoyable, and they give the vendors an opportunity to make money. Oh my goodness. I almost forgot to talk about this. I cannot let you go without talking about this aspect of things. So I noticed that, you know, I was talking about inflation earlier, and I don't know if this is the reason, but if you go into venues here, if you go into Pattaya and you go into places like Central Pattaya, like for example, Central Marina, which is a shopping mall, you go to Terminal 21, or you go to some of the other venues where they have a fancy mall attached. Mostly I've seen it there. Well, I have noticed that the vendors, they just aren't doing as well as they once were on previous trips. I don't know if it's about the time of year that we're here, but I've noticed that people just, they enjoy being out to see what everybody's got. You know, we're talking about the independent vendors that set up shops to sell souvenirs and to cook food and all this other stuff. But I also noticed that they're charging like double money for their stuff. So being here last year, you know, we spent a little bit of money, and then this year we're backing off a little bit. And I think that backing off is because things are getting they're getting expensive. But to charge double money for the same food that you were able to get, you know, a year ago or 5 or 6 months ago when we were here for half price, that's not such a good thing, you know. Now, I know that some people, when I brought this up, they have argued that point with me, saying, Dan, the price of food isn't going up. I don't know why they would, you know, all I'm doing is sharing my observation. But when you're paying 120 baht, which is $3 American, no, that's $4 American. 120 would be almost $4, $3.50 or something like that, $3.53, somewhere between $3.50 and $3.75. When you're paying that kind of money for a scoop of rice and a little bit of pork meat, that's disturbing to me a little bit. You know, that is a signal to me that something is not right. And so I mentioned it to I just happened to share my thoughts with the vendor, and they got so upset with me they walked away. I said, aren't you charging, when I was here last year you were charging 60 baht and now you're charging 120. I would love to have dinner with you because you serve great food, but I have to ask myself the question, is it worth 120 baht or is it worth more like 60 baht? And they got very upset with me, you know, and everybody was just walking by their booth. They weren't even, they would look, they would glance, see the price, and they would walk by there. Oh, I have to talk about this. I noticed that, let me put it in a general sense. People are going to know what I'm talking about when I bring this up. When you go to a restaurant, so most of the restaurants here in Pattaya, I notice in the tourist areas, they have the menu sitting out on the sidewalk or near the entry door. So you can go and you can check the prices of the food before you enter. So maybe you know it's a 2-star, 3-star, 4-star. How much money am I going to be paying here, right? I have a budget for food. I have a food going out budget. And so I check the menu before we go in. Oh, that's a little bit too expensive for us. Let's move on. We'll find another place. So this is all well and good. This is fair. This is the way you do business, so that way you don't go in and into the restaurant and then you're seated and then they bring you the menu. You open up, you go, oh, I can't, nice seeing you, after they've already spent some time serving you the water and whatever else they do, right? And setting the table. And it's embarrassing and uncomfortable for you because you have to get up from the table and walk out, which I do. I do sometimes. But there are restaurants who won't display the prices. They'll only display pictures of the food. And so now, this isn't a bad marketing strategy, but I've noticed that most of those restaurants that I've encountered are empty because people in this day and age, they don't like surprises. They want to see what the price is before they enter the restaurant. I know there's going to be 1 or 2 people that are going to spend money willy-nilly. They're just going to go in there. They have plenty of do-re-mi. They have plenty of cash, and they're just going to spend it at will. They're on vacation. Those are the people that they're trying to attract. I think this is the reason why they do that. Oh, the food looks delicious in the pictures. Let's go in there. And then you open up the menu and you get the shock of your life. But by then, it's too late. You're sucked in already. The pictures got you. They grabbed you. And so I understand the marketing strategy. I'm not that kind of people. And apparently most people aren't that kind of people. They want to know in advance what they're going to pay for what they're going to eat, And so it's a better idea to post the prices at the door. Those restaurants were busy. The ones that don't post, they weren't so busy. In other words, great food is going to save you most of the time, right? Posting the prices will save you all the time. See, once the word gets around, oh, they don't post prices, but their food is great. Then you could decide, oh man, I have evidence, solid evidence that the food is delicious and I want to go in there and I try it out. So you don't care about the price. You don't care about the price if you have a vacation fund and you've been saving for this vacation, you have a pocket full of money. You're not going to be thinking about the price of food. You're just going to go inside, order what you're going to order up, and when the bill comes, you just pay the bill and go on your merry way with a smile on your face. Most people are not like that. That's the point I'm trying to make. They want to know what they're going to pay before they enter the restaurant. They want to know. They don't like surprises. That's me. Woo! See that? Woo! Woo! I don't like surprises. No, I don't. I want to know, And so, being that I do have the dry sense of humor that I do have, I've mentioned this a couple of times to a couple of these people. Oh, I'm not allowed to come in your restaurant. Well, why not, sir? Why not? Because it's against my religion to go into a restaurant that doesn't post the prices at the door. And they almost never say anything to me. They just give me a sort of a strange look like, aren't you an interesting person? And then I go walking down the street, right? I encourage you to be more like me. You vote with your feet and you walk with your feet. You walk. Walk away. Walk away if you don't like the prices. I'll share one final thought about that idea. So, this is an anomaly. It's only happened to me once in my entire life. But I want to share it with you because we're friends. We went into a restaurant where they did post the prices at the door. And I flipped through it and I go, oh man, the prices are really good. I hope the food's good. Let's go in and try it out. When we entered in there and they sat us and they brought us water, service water and all that stuff, set the table, they brought us menus that were not the same priced menus that were at the door. So what does Dan do? You know, I get up and I go out the front door and I grab the menu that's posted. I bring that inside and I order from that. And I set the other menus aside. They were shocked. They were shocked. They said, we have never had anybody do that in our entire existence. I just got up. When I come visiting, you better be prepared for something to happen that's never happened to you before, right? And so I go out there, I grab the menu off the sidewalk, I bring it in. We're going to order from this menu. And they had nothing to say. The eyes got wide like this. And they were like, damn. Because obviously they've never had anybody do that before. And I said to them, well, I'm gonna order from this outside menu here. I like it a lot better. But it was the same menu that was inside they handed us with increased prices. You see, in other words, they use that one to entice people in the door. And then when I told people this story, they say, oh, come on, Dan. They people don't do that. I've never seen it. I'm just sharing. I'm just sharing with you. I'm just sharing with you my experiences. That's all I'm doing. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. Does Dan make it up as he goes along? No. This is just, well, sometimes I do. This is just real life happening. This is stuff that happens in everyday life. If I have other oddities, other odd things that happen, I will most likely share them with you, because I think that one or two of you, or the only one watching, would find it amusing, hopefully. All right. See everybody later. Have a great rest of your day. And we'll see you on the next one. And we don't know when that one's going to be. Right? Bye-bye.